Real quick before we start, this is my very first attempt at r/no sleep on writing some story. It's such a rare occasion where I get up with a story to share with you guys. So that marks the uncertainty on actively contributing further stories to r/no sleep. Well, I'm more of an active reader there. I really love going through stories by the community at No Sleep subreddit as well as Short Scare Stories subreddit. Props to Jeff Clement, Kim Darkly, Fear Crawler, The Dark Somnium, and Miss Romnix for introducing me to the whole world of creepypasta in such an immersive manner. I really recommend you to check out their YouTube channels. And also thanks again to the No Sleep subreddit community for giving me this opportunity. So with that being said, here goes nothing. Shivers. I get occasional short shivers from my childhood. It feels like for a split second I'm struck with a fever of some kind and my body combats to raise me from a sudden drop in my body temperature. According to Google though, it's a natural activity of our bodies. Albeit, maybe it's just me who later found it unnatural. Totally unrelated, but I have watched enough horror movies and the ghastly titties I see on the screens won't cut it since I'm aware of the cliches. The only time where they can scare me to death are in my dreams. Seriously, I remember me jumping up awake scared to some demon in one of my childhood nightmares. However, I'm way more afraid of strange looking lights. Basically smaller spots of lights like floating orbs. A good everyday example would be the light bleeding out from a living room at night through the small diamond-shaped fan lights up at our walls. Let's say the scary stories woven around UFOs or those footage from Iranavillaputtanam, Nochiagama Radhapura and Kovilya Mahiyangane about a strange floating disc or an orb caught on camera triggered this fear. Back to the shivers. As far as I knew, I used to get one of them once in a blue moon. I mean, once in a month to be precise. But about a month ago, it got strangely frequent to the point where I get a chill every fortnight. And I started noticing that it happens only in nighttime. Is that strange? I have a fascination with electronic and electric stuff. Audio equipment hold my interest. The first and only assignment I had with analog electronics module was to make a simple audio amplifier. And out of my batch, I was the only one to make a stereo amplifier rather than a cheaper mono one with 2 out of 10 LM386 chips. 8 got burned. That was a bed of roses until we had to etch the circuit using copper boards, ferric chloride and all that jazz, and finalize it with a bridge rectifier circuit so that we can run our amp on mains, i.e. our 230 volts 50Hz AC grid supply. Look, I'm not bragging, our supply grid is unstable because we are reliant more on a single power plant located at Norachole Puttalam, and I'm praying to whatever the god, let there be rain to the reservoirs so that we can run our hydropower plants more efficiently. Okay, that's enough facts. Hopefully that assignment gave me none since I was overly careful with the memories of me getting shocked by faulty power outlets or in our words, plug points. Those shocks I got weren't humble like those natural chills I was going through. It feels like me getting a cane strike from an angry teacher combined with the devilish tremors surrounding my heart. The shivers I got to talk about here started taking a twist into territory kinda like that. And boy, I could get so descriptive on differentiating different types of chills I gotta experience daily. Got a natural chill while listening to a news about immense floods in Florida despite having nobody related that there to worry about staying here in Colombo. I beg your pardon if that was rude by any means. Sitting next to me, my mom asked, "Are you alright?" And I silently responded by shrugging that off as a normal thing so that I won't disturb my sister Rose studying in her room for her upcoming A-level exam. That was the worst mistake I made. I miss them so much. I usually sleep facing to the empty wall next to my bed rather than to the window because my messed up mind was too good at bringing up some sort of unearthly glowing orb out of nowhere. I've asked many folks whether they have seen a thing like that. Based on what they said in response, I have built up some faint confidence on nothing's out there. Albeit I remember many occasions where I mumble up some random nonsense alone in the dark to make an escape from a fear rising out of nowhere but my mind. Again my body shook. Except I heard a sting of some sort of hum. From before I thought it was a figment of my imagination based off of the Fallen Angel at X-Files, but it was my ears pulsating. My sleep quality is hella low and sometimes I experience falling downs in my sleep that snap me awake, but that's another story. However, the clock read 11:24 at the bottom of the night. That shiver was sustained. It felt as if my body struck a heat wave of mere 5 seconds, and I remember my wooden bed crackling like never before, sort of like someone's jumping on it. Only I can remember myself gagging, struggling to get out of an invisible grasp. Miraculously, I saw some blue tint through that godforsaken window I ignored to face at in the night. Hell, I was that nerdy to make up my mind, thinking, no, maybe the blue receptors in my eyes are refreshing since I wear those blue cut glasses. A chill is an act of refreshing my body, get over it, blah blah blah. But can that explain the whoosh-like transition to the usual pitch black of what I see in the night? The following day, out of confusion, I asked my mom, dad and even my sister on any trace of sound, a light, or eventually whether they got a sudden chill in the night. Well, guess what? They were asleep, and they had no idea what I was talking about. However, knowing that I frequently experience sudden shocks, my mom asked me to come meet the doctor. But I even passed on that, seeing how we went on roll with nothing much to spend, having paid another installment of a hefty university fee in addition to electricity and phone bills. I managed to do my medications myself. I started laying a cloth dampened with dilute cologne or vinegar on my forehead when I sleep. Got overly curious about my posture, moved to drinking filtered or hot water, avoided cold food and got my tongue burnt yet again. But the chills never let go of me. I had a habit on reading. Lately YouTube got the best of it and I kind of moved to watching or listening to documentaries. Tech Track, Rantika Vijayasinghe's Ramua, Vsauce and Veritasium were my all-time favorites. In one of Rantika's videos, I listened about near-death experiences where experiencing a dramatic slowdown in time was fairly common when the tragic accident was taking place. The last day was exhausting and it was too late when I arrived at home after clearing our stall of the annual exhibition held at our campus. Albeit, we had such a peace of mind receiving good comments from those who viewed our project. Anyhow, having no more strength left to do anything else, I hit the sack in a hurry when the clock was just about to read 11:28. That damned shiver was back. Maybe it's just me who felt a fake slowdown of time. Pain was rising from the inside and moving towards the back of my whole body. And this time, it was obvious that I was levitating. And in place of that blue tint I had once seen through that window, there was a violently glowing pale semicircle. A few frames later, I heard a glass pane breaking as if some bomb blasted it into smithereens. The hum in my ears got louder like an amplifier cranked up to saturation. Through the now grown semicircle, I'm seeing someone or something gazing at me. My back was lying against some irony cold fabric, and inside my head, I felt something agonizingly sharp creeping down into my brain.